My, how a difference 9 days can make. Welcome into Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor. This one coming to you. This is a late brew. I apologize, Razor and RC. But actually, we can blame Chara, right? The late start. But doing this one almost 12:30 in the morning, record after the Boston Bruins skate to a 4-2 victory at home to complete a 5-0 record on this last homestand. A place, Razor, where they hadn't played well previously. They had lost, 3 or 4 in a row previously at home. Also come off the road after getting thumped pretty good by Seattle 9 days ago, now 10 days ago when you're listening to this, 7-4. Bruins come back with authority. 5 wins, Razor, that were completely different in many ways throughout the course of this homestand. Welcome in again to Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor. Our sponsors, Sparks, Sunset Lake CBD, Fazenda, and Copeland. We'll touch on all of them in a little bit. Going to get right to Chara's night. Razor, what a fun night, man. You talk about regularly the importance of playing at home and winning at home on big nights. You were there for the Cam Neely night. You've shared that story with us many times. Very important that they found a way to win this Zdeno Chara night.
It was, and they did, and they deserve a lot of credit how well they've played, and it's a big 2 points just to finish it off. And again, with everyone there, everyone's happy afterwards. Everyone's downstairs hanging out, and that's important for the team this season. And then going out on the road for a couple of games and just kind of grinding through to the Olympics. That this game tonight should propel them through the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, and you know, they're right back in the thick of it. And I mean, okay, yeah, they're wild card 1 or 2. I think it's 2 as we sit and record. But with another 1 or 2 wins and another team lost, they could be up in the top 2 or 3 in the division. And all of a sudden, it's a lot better. It's a whole crazy, off the charts, split personality season, not just for them, but for everybody. But maybe I'm missing something. They seem to be more streaky than many other teams. Is that fair, or am I forgetting that every other team is doing this exact same thing?
No, everyone's doing the same thing. They're Buffalo, Washington, Toronto, Philly's dunking now, New Jersey's dunking. But they can all come back and win 5 in a row on their homestand whenever that's coming over the next couple of weeks. So I think everyone's just real streaky. The Bruins have been a little bit, and the season, just the fact that they got all these games on back-to-backs right now, the fact they had a tougher schedule earlier, just it's really dependent on what's going on around you.
So if my numbers are correct, 5-0, that I'm correct with on the last 5. 22 goals for, 5 against. Not bad. Not bad at all. Only 1 power play goal, I believe, on the homestand. They gave up 3. Right, yep, they gave up 3. Power play, I'm actually, when I say happy, I'm not happy that the power play was a whopping 6.5% on the homestand, my friend. But it says to me that they did it with their 5-on-5 and their depth scoring, which is exactly what they did. And that, to me, is very impressive, very important. The Zaka line, best line, all homestand for sure. I mean,
No
we've talked ad nauseum about it, partner. They're the best. They've been their most consistent, productive line all season long because they've played together the most too. They've kept them together. But this homestand, they were outstanding.
They did it against Seattle right out of the gates. Made a great play on the first shift, didn't score, didn't convert, and then second shift almost the same play, and then they do convert right out of the gates. So they stay hot, really good. And they play a lot of defensive zone stuff as well.
They do, and Zaka is very comfortable with that. The other two seem to be more comfortable with that. But think about this. You go Calgary, that 4-1 win, a tough game after traveling all day cross-continent from after that loss to Seattle. and you're playing a Calgary team that better, they're up and down, no question about it. They're not one of the better teams in the league, but they're up and down. But you win that game 4-1. And then everybody's like, okay, well, now you got to take on the Rangers, who are better on the road. Holy smokes. 10-2, throttle them the night of Pasta 6 points, Khustnutdinov 4 goals, Zacha a hat trick. And then you get the complete, utter opposite with the Pittsburgh Penguins, an absolute grinder, a mosh pit, basically, a 1-0 win that game. Detroit 3-0 over one of the hot teams in the league, right? The hottest teams in the league. You beat them 3-0. And then Seattle, a team that has been better. There's no question they've been better. But would you agree that every game had its own image? Its own, like, was there any common thread that I'm missing except for, depth guys coming through?
Yeah, no, there wasn't. It was just solid hockey. Detroit was the best game of the season, front to back. It was all different. It was all like you said, they won in different ways. So sign a good team, especially in the middle of January.
What did you like most about Jeremy Swayman's game? And now, and again, and the homestand. Now, in his role in the homestand, what have you liked the most? Let's start with the game tonight.
It doesn't look different. It doesn't look difficult for him. Looks like he's really tracking the puck. I thought this game in particular, Seattle had a ton of tips, a ton of pucks to the net, a ton of seam plays kind of off the backside. So I thought Jeremy did a really nice job staying at the top of his crease and challenging and getting in front of those pucks. He had a bunch from right in front of him, right on top. And then I think overall, I think he's, again, he had the little blip before, like everybody else on the team, before the holiday break. He had played bad against Vancouver, a couple goals going in for Korpisalo. Those guys had a bad 48 hours that kind of highlighted the way things were going for them. But since the break, they've both been awesome. And that's kind of carried into, November, December for Jeremy. He just looks the same every night. I think he's playing with some freedom and some confidence, and the guys are responding in front, of course.
He seemed to be more verbally and a little physically involved in this game from my position. You were on the glass. I was up on the 5th floor Nesson studio. As I like to say, tell me that I'm full of it. More than happy to admit.
No, it was basically Montour. It was just Montour.
It.
Yeah. He was kind of that penalty. Everyone had something to say, and then he was trying to get under Swayman's skin. Really, he was doing a lot of that.
Who was it? Montour at the end of the where he came out of the save and he didn't get a penalty, but he pushed him. He gave him a little,
Montour was on the ice again. He came down and got in the. I don't think it wasn't Montour.
I don't think it was Montour. Yeah,
but Montour got in the mix 2 seconds after that.
Yeah. Okay, I mean, I'm okay. Again, outside looking in, I'd love him not to do that there, but I'm not quibbling. I'm just saying, because God forbid he had not. I don't know if he knocked where he gets a penalty. I'm just like, I don't need it there, because I loved what he did otherwise in this game. Loved it. I've loved his presence, and again, you're the expert. I'm just looking at, but otherwise, I feel like, to me, I'm like, no need right there. Save it. Now I know you're not playing him for the rest of the year. I just wouldn't want anything to happen. I mean, you know what I mean with regard to it. But that's it. Otherwise, I thought it was outstanding.
Yeah, no, he was. He obviously got invested in this one, so that's part of his. That's part of his character, I guess. We've seen it at times, and again, it was Montour's getting on everybody's skin out there.
Montour back in the line. This is his first game back.
It was
in a while, so he was more than happy to be there. And everybody, if you don't remember, which I'm sure all of our listeners and viewers do, Montour had a significant role in the first Florida Panther victory over the at the time award-winning or record-setting Boston Bruins a couple of years back. Montour was very much a presence for the Florida Panthers before he then ended up going to Seattle as a free agent the next year. Just to go over this game quickly, because I think it's worth it to run to it, because of especially the player that got things going for the Bruins after the wonderful Zdeno Chara ceremony. And we're going to touch on that. There's no question we're going to get to that. But I wanted to get into the game just and talk a little bit of the Detroit game too, and then we'll do the ceremony. But Khustnutdinov picks up his 10th goal of the season, Razor. 10th goal of the season, less than a minute into this game, 54 seconds to be exact. After a long breakout stretch play from McAvoy, up the middle to the left side, Khustnutdinov, when he receives the pass, all he did basically was touch it and to allow it to kind of like put into space in front of him and behind the defender. It was Hayden Fleury. And by doing that, Razor, he allowed himself to accelerate even faster. He's already fast as it is with the puck, but faster without it. And that half stride allowed him to turn on that left wing side past Hayden Fleury. And then he makes a beautiful move on Decord, who I just don't think, I don't know, you tell me, that early in the game could match the speed of Khustnutdinov as he goes from the left side to the right side, makes a deke and deposits it on his backhand for a 1-0 lead.
No, Khustnutdinov he had obviously a massive homestead scoring those 4 goals, and he's feeling it right now. He's and his teammates are feeling it around him as well. I think that's really helpful when they've been able to spread. You talked about the depth scoring; they've been able to spread guys out this entire homestand. So Khustnutdinov's a huge part of it. On the goal, yeah, the what he did really well is, and why he ended up scoring, was he had his eyes up the whole time, and he did, because of that spacing he was able to get. I don't think he had to worry about the puck. He didn't have to worry about sticks. He had his head up the whole way, and Decord just kind of went. He did go down early because Khustnutdinov gave him a little fake. He went down, but Khustnutdinov's head was up the whole way, and it was game over at that point.
Yeah, I mean, you goalies are so damn good at that level. I mean, I just he made it look easy.
Yeah,
he did. Like, I don't want to say he made Decord look bad. That's not, but he made it look easy, which you don't always say. You know, it was like Decord was just stuck there, and with that move. So just an awesome play. I mean, have we seen enough to say that Khustnutdinov is top 6 on a real good team? Is he 6'9"? Is he a second, third line? I think he's more suited to that. I think he's the kind of player that you can allow to ride the elevator up, and you can help use to change a look of a line. I mean, all kidding aside, he's actually been almost in some ways driving a line along with Minton at times too, right? So he's become that nice movable object that will make other players feel good. I know Pasternak has loved playing with him. I talked to Murat about it this morning. He says, I'm playing with 2 righties. By the way, Razor, his English was so much better again. But he talked about learning that he's like, I'm playing with 2 righties. And he says, sometimes I turn the wrong way and then I can't get them the puck. And they're reminding me like, hey, we're righties, turn this way, not the other way. And he says, so I'm still learning. But he's doing a great job of making the line that he's on more noticeable, and that's not an easy thing to do.
It isn't. And so you asked about the top 6, and I look, he was the 37th overall pick. Like, I was wondering where he came from. I didn't really ever read the scouting report. He was projected that he could be a top 6.
Interesting. Yeah.
Which is more, again, I didn't have him pegged there. I was surprised that he was 37th overall. So maybe it's there. You know, maybe it is in there. And
I see him as a second liner. Like, I'm comfortable with that. Yeah. Can you elevate him, or does it matter? Is it semantics at that point?
I think it's semantics, right? Like, you know, of course you would love to have, you know, Brad Marchand there, and then Khustnutdinov's perfectly there, right? Like, I understand, you know, when it really comes down to it, you need that superstar, but he could be a geeky like player where a second round pick who works into being a second round talent, just takes a little bit longer. It's interesting, and he's been awesome, and it was an awesome goal today.
Speaking of awesome, you already mentioned it a little while ago. The second line been awesome. Pavel Zacha is going to get the first assist. Casey Middlestat the second assist on Victor Arvidsson's goal 3 minutes later, 3:45, beg your pardon, to be exact. After the Bruins, early on in the game, they were exiting the zone well. They were getting speed through neutral zone, and they were entering. This was a perfect example of that, too, off the breakout. Pavel Zacha gets the puck over to Arvidsson, cross ice from the right side to the left side. Arvidsson then tries to hit a streaking Casey Middlestat coming through the slot. But it was a good back check by Jaden Schwartz. The issue is that Schwartz's stick blade was on the ice. The puck went off the middle toe part of his stick into the net. Again, no chance for the cord whatsoever, as Arvidsson tried to zip the puck from the left wing side. The righty tried to hit the lefty Casey Middlestat in front. but it goes off the stick of Schwartz, made it 2-0. But that was all about the speed. I think the clearing of the neutral zone and then the east-west plays in the offensive zone, it forced Seattle to have to come back hard, and they could never kind of correctly get to the bodies, get to the Bruins there. Just a beautiful play, and the Bruins are up 2-0 on that play, Razor.
They're so fast. They played so fast those first 4 minutes, 5 minutes of the game. And you described it perfectly. They just pushed them back. Every time they were through the neutral zone with so much speed, Seattle was way back. They were tripping. They were it felt like they could have scored 5 goals in the first 5 minutes. That's how fast they were playing.
So Seattle gets a power play goal. Bruins took a handful of penalties in this game. Okay, whatever. Again, penalties. I think you can make an argument they're all penalties here and there. Okay, but they give up power play goal. Chandler Stevenson scores 2-1. Good timeout by Lane Lambert. I don't want to say obvious, but he had to do something because the Bruins were dominant. It was interesting, Razor. That I don't know if the timeout worked more in favor of Seattle because it got them energized, or if that minute, literally, and I know it's 30 seconds, but by the time it's done, it's a minute, you could see a difference in the Bruins. It was just like they were ready to get for the next face-off, and then it was like, no, they were just like, we can't. It was not slow-mo, but it wasn't high speed. They couldn't get going again. So I'll give credit where credit is due. It was a well-played timeout. Seattle does come out again. They end up getting that goal. And sometimes it's all it takes. It was almost like they had the sugar rush, then like a little kid, and then they just kind of collapsed and they couldn't get going again for a while. I thought Seattle, the last 12 minutes of that period, maybe even 13, was the much better team. If it wasn't for Sway, it's tied. If not, they're losing.
Yeah, no, he made some huge saves in the first, and yeah, it was like the timeout happened, and then the guys started kind of looking around, like, "Wow, this is pretty fun," and just took their eye off the ball, and Seattle, of course, turned it up a little bit, and when they just watching them twice, when they get going in the offensive zone, they become a 5-man tilt-a-whirl pretty quickly. Their D are really active, especially when Montour's there.
Yeah, you pointed that out on the show. It's a good point. They're more active from the back end than I remember them being. Quite honestly.
They made a point of it because they were going down and the man on man. They had a couple of those opportunities where Sway had to play backdoor or off a tip with a guy all alone in front because of the way they were working in the offensive zone. The Bruins were on their heels big time.
Let's go to the second period and talk about Mark Kastelic. And again, another player having a fantastic year. 4 minutes and 40 seconds in, he's going to score a shorthanded goal, first of his career, first for the Bruins this year, right? If I remember correctly.
Is that what it was?
I'll look it up. I like to be accurate, not always smart, but accurate. He ends up getting it, and he gets his 8th goal of the season. I thought it was a beautiful read as he pressured Matty Beniers. Pretty much he was just inside the defensive blue line, or let's say at the blue line of the Seattle Kraken as he regrouped and regathered the puck. His back, though, is facing offensively, meaning he's skating back towards his own net. He feels the pressure of Kastelic. Kastelic's a righty. Beniers is a lefty. So he's got the puck, and Beniers kind of fakes like he's going to go back to his forehand towards the wall. Kastelic edge work, excellent. He puts his stick just enough to the ends towards that wall, and then Beniers tries to cut back going to the inside, so he's going to turn back up the ice. Meanwhile, Kastelic's stick work, sublime. Gets his stick to the inside, strips the puck from Beniers, no contact made with the body whatsoever, goes in on a breakaway. And while the backhand wasn't the most vicious shot, meaning the steam on it, right? It was the placement. He beats the goaltender to cord, between the blocker side and the arm, 7-hole. I'm guessing the cord is going to say, I got to seal that. I got to make that save. But perhaps it's just that release on the back end that it's always harder for the goalie to pick up. That was just enough there. But I absolutely love that play. And that shorty was enormous for the Bruins.
It was huge because of the way the second period ended. You're going on the power play. You don't want to give up the lead and tie this up. And you just felt like that was going to change the momentum. In hindsight, it didn't as much as I thought it was going to. But again, going back to the goal, you did a great job describing it. it was a big goal, and that 7 hole opens up just a little when Kastelic, I don't know if he got everything on that backhand.
I don't think so.
He kind of flubbed it. Might have been trying to go higher in the net. As a goal, you kind of pick your shoulder up if you think it's going high, and then it ends up going underneath your arm and can't get it. So you definitely want that as a goaltender, especially because your guys are fighting back so well. You gave 2 early ones up. You're the one that thinks you're going to get to a lead, and now you're like, man, now the guy's got to get 2 more to come back in. This is tough.
Alex Steves had the other shorthanded goal. My apologies. So that was the second shorthanded goal this season, but it was huge in this game because yeah, I agree with you. It didn't completely change the tenor of the game, but it gave him that cushion. It gave him that, all right, we got a little bit of room. Tolvanen ends up scoring a goal a little bit after that on a funky shot. Pretty damn good release, though. Puck was flubbing a bit from the right face-off circle, and it beats Swayman top corner over the glove side. Bruins will hold on. They get an empty net goal from David Pastrnak. A lot of people were thinking, self-included, that he might give the puck, drop it to his right a bit for Morgan Geekie as they went down the ice. But I was actually okay that he didn't, as much as I'd love to see Geekie get a goal, Razor. I don't know about you. I was like, all right, because David was about 4 feet in front of him. What if he missed the pass? And if he gave it to Geekie or Geekie didn't make, because there could have been a Kraken player that get in the way. I don't know. I was fine with him not making that play there. And to seal the deal to make sure that the Bruins get the victory. Or were you in agreement on that, or did you?
Yeah, I was. Yeah, no, not even 4-2 game. If they're up by 2, then maybe you get a drop pass and get everyone involved, but not with 15 seconds left. You're putting your head down, putting it in the net in a 1-goal game.
So the Bruins skate to that victory, 4-2 again over a team that they played last night and they lost in overtime in New Jersey. But I thought Seattle really, except for the first 4 minutes, showed himself well in this game. And the Bruins finished their homestand 5-0. Let's quickly touch on our sponsors here. And then I just want to touch a little bit on the Detroit game, just because our fans, we didn't get to talk about it. And then I want to get into the whole Chara thing, which was just spectacular. I thought just a fantastic night. Well, let's start with our spark. You want to give a spark of the 5-game homestand? You want to do a spark of the game? Where do you want to go with it? With the spark sharpener?
Well, I think the ceremony, that's where we're going to go after this, right? That's the spark tonight is the Zdeno Chara.
Perfect. All right, I'll still give the read quickly. Sparks Hockey. Go to sparkshockey.com for the finest at-home sharpener that you can find. I will tell you this: my son Jake's got a game tomorrow. He said in the text he was home alone tonight. I said everything ready. He said, yeah, I forgot my skates though. I said, okay. Literally, Razor, when I text you guys I'm home, give me 5 minutes. I threw them in there, gave them a pass or 2 each. Skates are done. Spark sharpeners, the absolute finest things out there. Both Razor and I fully endorse and approve and highly suggest that you use sparkshockey.com, sparks of the game. Sunset Lake CBD. I haven't been able to go take my sleep stuff yet because I had to sit down for this. So I'm going to get upstairs in just a little bit, and I'm going to have myself a nice little dollop, so to speak, of the tincture, a little sleep, but not too much, because I'm going to be getting up in about 5 hours with Jake to make sure that he gets to school. But otherwise, you got to check out sunsetlakecbd.com. Razor, you and I, RC, we all love it. Sleep gummies, good night gummies. They got vibe gummies. They've got focus gummies, but they've also got muscle aches, stuff to deal with your muscle aches and stuff. If you order over $75, Sunset Lake CBD will ship your order for free. Everything is made at their Vermont farm. It's all natural up there. They grow, they harvest, they ship everything from there right to your door. Skip the lines. You don't have to go out to a dispensary. SunsetLakeCBD.com. Use the code BRU20, BRU20, get 20% off the entire website. These products are fantastic. Customer service, fantastic. Check them out. I am so excited to go have some of my sleep tincture soon. I'm going to do the one without melatonin, just so
that's the key. That's the middle ground.
Yes, that's the perfect one right there. Folks, all kidding aside, if you have questions about CBD, and I know some people do, call them, talk with their people. They love it, and they will take care of you. Speaking of taking care of you, Fazenda Coffee, Razor, they've taken care of us for years. Fazenda Coffee, Fazenda, fazendacoffee.com/morning brew. Still got some hats in stock there. A lot of great coffee. I had a phenomenal pot of coffee made this morning. And it was that protocol blend again that I used. The morning brew blend will be used next, but protocol. So I love I'm a dark roast coffee guy. So I like that. So go with that. Lastly, tell us about Copeland Automotive Group, where you can count on Copeland, because Razor, you've counted on Copeland for years now.
I have the group, whether it's Chevy or my Toyota down in Brockton. The guys are great at both places, great service. It's an absolute no-brainer. If you're in the business of looking for a new car, new or used, go to Copeland, check any of their dealerships out. The guys that I've gone to are the best, and 3 cars in a row. So I'm not a car salesman type of guy. So that's the best endorsement.
Kind of expecting Copey to be at the game tonight. He may have been, for all I know. I don't know, but he usually comes by.
He usually pops in though.
He finds you, right?
Yeah, he'll find me on the glass. If I'm,
I was going to say,
he's in the booth automatically, and then he goes to the 5th, and then he'll come find me down on the glass. Yeah.
You know what? You can count on Todd Copeland
Correct.
finding you.
Right.
There's no doubt about it. But we count on Copeland. CountOnCopeland.com. Check it out. Toyota, Chevrolet, Subaru. All right. I want to just quickly mention the Red Wings game. It was a 3-0 game that saw the Boston Bruins end up outshooting Detroit 41-24 in the game. The real story, though, if you're going to look at shots, though, partner, was the third period, 16-2. They played a team, yes, that had played the night before. By the way, they had their own jersey retirement ceremony the night before. I'm sure it was a wonderful night for Sergei Fedorov. I watched some of the game. I didn't catch the ceremony. But the Bruins made sure to save their best for last. You could tell they came out in the third period, bud, ready to play shutdown hockey. Not boring hockey. Structured, though, paced, smart hockey. 16-2 outshot the Red Wings, and they ended up scoring 2 goals in the third period. The first at 3:49 mark, Fraser Minton gets his 11th goal of the season. Charlie McAvoy with a beautiful play. He was up top, middle point. He ended up getting a shot through, picks the puck back up, leaves 2 Penguins behind him, and in essence, a 3-on-2 down low. Makes a real nice dance move. I think he beat the big defenseman Edmondson. I could be wrong. I don't remember. But he goes to his forehand, and then he passes to the doorstep where all Minton has to do is put it in, just the easy tap, and just a gorgeous play. And then Mark Kastelic at the 16-minute mark gets an empty net goal because the Todd McClellan Detroit Red Wings had pulled their goalie early down 2. But Kastelic with a real nice play, a backhand one-hander that swatted away from Mason Raymond, Lucas Raymond, beg your pardon.
There was a Mason Raymond.
There was. Yes, there was. It's a good call. But Lucas Raymond, I got to tell you something. I know this isn't a Detroit show, but I wouldn't have been happy with Lucas Raymond on that one there. I may have been tired, but I didn't love his effort. I loved Kastelic's effort. That was fantastic.
Yeah, and I didn't see any of Lucas Raymond at all. I was expecting a lot more just in general, and then that play would definitely put Todd over the top on the video for him for the night.
So just thinking quickly about that Red Wing game, what did you like most about that one? A big divisional matchup. I go back to it again. I thought it was a balanced attack. The minutes and the ability to have all lines, all D pairs make valuable contributions sounds cliche, but you need it. It came through again, I thought, in flying colors that game.
Yeah, front to back. That's what I was going to say about that Red Wings game. Front to back on the roster, front to back in the 60 minutes of the game. The coaches had them properly prepared for their penalty kill or their power play to kill. They did a good job there as well. So it was just a full best 60-minute effort and probably all season.
Victor Arvidsson, 10 shots on goal, 14 overall, very Ovechkin-like in that game. He seems to be, and as well, this is the best streak that he's had, I think, as a Bruin. I know he's been scoring all year, but his presence, his you recognize him, and I think more and more and more. The guy doesn't care if he gets hit hard and he gets put on his ass, and he does. He's not big, but he doesn't give a crap. Gets himself up, he goes back to the front of the net, kind of runs on the ice a bit too. But how can you can't not notice him right now, Razor, when he's on the 71 is noticeable for this team.
Yeah, every time he gets on the ice, he's been very, very consistent with that effort and that energy, and he loves to score goals, right? Like he's one of those guys who really likes to score goals, and he really feels good when he scores goals. So you can see that in his effort, and he's been rewarded with all of that, and the fact that the chemistry between he and Middlestat and Zaka is clicking right now is just adding a little fuel on this fire.
Bruins in that game out face-offed. That's not a term, but won the face-off battle 43-28. Kastelic was 8 for 9 in that, and Elias Lindholm 15 wins, 8 losses. So a lot of good stuff.
Yeah.
In that game. Swayman, and it was just good. Yeah. Just real good and impressive. I agree with you. Probably their best effort, front to back, so to speak, start to finish. You take advantage of a tired team, but it's part of it. Everybody's got to deal with it. So Good stuff there. Let's talk about Chara. I call it the best for last. I think it's worth its own little segment here with the show. Bruins have gotten very good at these. And they keep getting better and better. First and foremost, and I'm not being a smart ass here, it was the right amount of time. These things can drag on. You can't make them too short. You can't make them too long. How's that for unbelievable analysis? But it was the right amount. It was, and by the way, the game started perfectly on time. They said 8:00 start, meaning 8:08. That's the way it works. And at 8:08, we were done with Todd Angeli's anthems and we were playing hockey. So real kudos to the Bruins communications, PR, everybody putting this together for having the timing done right. Now, the people involved, the Bruins ownership, management, they do this the right way, but it ends up being guys on the ice. The Andrew Ferentz, MC. I thought it was excellent. It really, really personalized it. And I think that was the thing that I kept coming back to, Razor, was how warm this felt. It felt like a nice reunion of special Boston Bruins welcoming in another special Boston Bruin to a club.
Yeah, you're right. It felt like it was happening in a living room.
Great. Yes, exactly.
All of these guys really like each other. There's nothing underlying through the generations, and they're all just good people and good guys and fairly normal in relation to all other pro athletes and a lot of other guys in the NHL or a lot of other teams with alumni like that. So it just felt, you're right. It felt really personal, cozy, relaxing.
13 players have now had their jersey number retired. I don't have, and I tried to get this, and I made an attempt to, and then I forgot to follow up with my buddy who does a lot of this stuff. I don't know how many players have played at least one game for the Boston Bruins, but it's a lot.
Yeah,
it's a real lot. And only 13 players have had their number retired. It is not, again, here's a great analysis. It's not an easy club to get into. It isn't. And, it's a fun game to play. Who's next and this and that. I think we know for sure there's one coming pretty soon, another guy pretty soon. But then there's going to be perhaps a little time before another one. So the uniqueness of it, and I love that. I love that it's a hard thing to get into. I love the fact that the Bruins, just how clean it is, how organized it is, how good the videos have become. I thought, Ferentz's welcome video walking through the North End and everything, I thought it was awesome because, again, it personalized it. And that's what Zdeno is about, but also that's, You could tell the friendship was there, and it's a significant friendship. I think that's why. I mean, look, everybody loves Zdeno Chara for what he's done on the ice. We know what great guy he is off the ice, but I think to see and to watch him view things and to see him almost, as he said, almost, the big guy didn't say he did, said he almost lost it. He almost got emotional. I think it made it real. I think it made him really real as well. I know he calls himself a normal guy. He ain't a normal guy.
No.
Yeah, I know he thinks of himself as that, but he seemed real normal out there. He's a special human being, and he was normal in this event, which was awesome.
Yeah, he was, and there was times, of course, with a guy like Zdeno, he's quiet or reserved or angry or emotional that way, and you don't quite get in, and that whether you're doing a report with him or talk, what just can be all business for a lot of the media over the years, and when you get to see him like that, and with his friends and relaxed and grateful, and his kids, and we all can relate to that. And that's shouldn't be normal to be able to relate to a 6'9" marathon runner, but you were able to tonight.
I got to assume, look, I feel great being, when I say a part of it, all I'm doing is broadcasting. That's it. I'm on the show. I get to talk with him, etc. But for somebody who played for them, who has, one of their sweaters behind you right now, how freaking awesome does it feel for you to be there to see that and to know that, you are a part of this incredibly special organization in a big way?
Yeah, it's amazing. It's because again, these nights are you relive something that's connected to that one way or another, and again, just being able to see those guys out on the ice, the old guys, and then that were my coaches, or Chief, the traveling secretary, or Bobby the agent, all those guys were touching us at a higher level with their expertise. And then, of course, playing against all the other guys on the other side of the aisle today. So it's all connected, and yeah, it's you're pretty proud as Zdeno Chara, of course, because you know how incredibly hard it is to be one of those 13 guys and what you have to sacrifice to be up there.
Did you have a favorite moment, a favorite comment? Is there any one thing that stood out to you from the event more than other?
No, I think just more so Andrew talking about the stuff prior to the Stanley Cup run, because we've all heard the Stanley, but those 5 years before, and the dinners and the talks, and that kind of, I appreciated that part of it, because again, for those guys, of course it's 2011, but there was a lot of time that it wasn't that good before that these guys had to fight through, and that's kind of the good stuff to hear.
I greatly appreciated. Thought it was so freaking cool that he named every player from that 2011 team of the core, right, that won the Stanley Cup, and he went through every single one, and I thought that was awesome. I just did. It was just, you kept, okay, who's next? You know what I mean? Yeah. When you realized right. He was starting to do it, you're like, all right, who's next? Fantastic. You love hearing how first time he skated, he fell, he lost his teeth, because we've all done, you know what I mean? Again, it does make him seem like, oh shit, I did the same thing too. I cried the first time that I played, because I was like, oh, my ankles hurt. But then, you know what? You get back out there, you go do it and everything. It was really warm. It was really welcoming. And it wasn't, for a formal event, it didn't feel uncomfortable. And it didn't feel too long. It felt just right. So congratulations to Zdeno and his family. He mentioned how the reason he didn't touch bringing, the ropes to raise the jersey, or the number up there, is the banner, because his kids were having so much fun doing it. And it was awesome. awesome hearing that and having him say that to us on our set. And that's what it's about. So I know, very proud. They're proud of him. He's proud of them. And it was so cool to see. So folks, if you haven't had a chance to see it, it'll be on social media. I guarantee it's already
it was
out.
awesome.
Sure.
They did a great job.
They did a great job. And so now we wait for a certain former roommate of my dear friend Andrew Raycroft.
He's next.
He is next. It'll be interesting to see when they do it. I talked to Cam Neely this morning in an interview that I did for NHL Network, and just about the timing and how they make the decision and the process. And the one thing you took about it was, well, he got into the Hall of Fame. We already knew that his numbers were being retired, but it was just appropriate with the Hall of Fame, and this was the right time. So if/when, because Patrice is up for the Hall of Fame, right?
Yeah, he'll be there in November. Yeah,
right.
He's going to be there. Yeah,
right. So
will the same pattern? It's just 1 year behind. So
exactly. Will they be doing that right away then too? It'll be a lot of fun. And Patrice, I know, and I had an interview with him as well. He was very proud, you could tell, and he was you've done a great job with Patrice on the Unobstructed Views. He's good. He's become good. Quite loquacious compared to before. So a lot of fun stuff. So anyways, congrats to him, the Chara family, the Bruins, everybody, for pulling off a phenomenal night. And everybody, as Ray just said 40 minutes ago, went home happy with the way that this game went. All right. That'll wrap up this morning brew with Jaffe and Razor. Saturday morning, live on EEI. Then the episode will be out as a pod and as a YouTube show. And then the game Saturday night. Your Boston Bruins taking on the Chicago Blackhawks. You and I in studio, right?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. All right. Saturday night's going to call for a little festivus at Nesson. Let's
all right.
We'll make whoever's producing buy us dinner.
Yeah, someone's buying us dinner for sure.
All right. Ryan, thanks for staying up late, my friend.
Thanks.
Really appreciate it.
Always.
And folks, thanks for listening. Thanks to our sponsors, Sunset Lake, Fazenda, Copeland, and Sparks. Boston Bruins win 5 in a row. They hit the road for 2. It's the siblings trip coming up. First Chicago, then Dallas. We will talk to you the next morning. Brew with Jaffe and Razor again Saturday morning, live on EEI. Everybody, enjoy your coffee.